Hello, hello. In this episode, I am giving you 6 actions and attitudes that will undoubtedly keep you broke. Okay? And some of these may surprise you. So whatever your bank account is looking like right now, I would continue to listen because I'm speaking from experience here. Some of these that I'm going to be talking about are insidious. So don't kill the messenger. Let's get into it. Welcome to All In With Allie, the podcast for online business owners and entrepreneurs who are ready to create the life and business of their dreams. I am so happy you are here. Okay, where this idea to talk about this came about is because last week I began sharing about a challenge that I am hosting this week. So as you listen to this, the challenge begins today. I will link the details in the show notes because you can join at any time, and I hope that you do. But what I noticed is this challenge, because of the nature of what I'm going to be teaching and the numbers that I'm throwing around like confetti and fully owning as possible, not for me, even though I do them, but for you. And by doing this, I've gotten some interesting reactions. So those immediately, I was like, oh, that's so interesting. I've gotten to the point, and by the way, just like for some context, the Pulling Money from the Sky challenge is how to make high ticket sales with low effort. So what I mean by that is, no fancy sales pages, no hard selling, barely any posting at all. You don't have to make a social media post. You can send an email or two. You can post in your stories. Keep it super chill, high ticket, low spots, easy freaking peasy. I'm talking 10K, 20K, 50K, and beyond days through the process that I am teaching in this challenge. So again, those are bold statements, and I fully understand that. But I'm to the point in my own business and in my own reality where that is so beyond normal and doable. Again, not just for me, but like every single person listening to this. And that's what I said I talked about this in last week's episode. I was like, this isn't like a me thing. This isn't, somebody who's super far along. This is available to every single person. Period. Everybody can do this. It may not work right now today. After the challenge, it might. But and by the way, this is child's play. So to me, again, this is so normalized. This is just the nature of our industry. This is what makes our industry so damn cool, is there's no ceiling at all to what we can create annually or daily. That's the best freaking part. You can create a 5K, 10K, 100K, $1 million offer if you want to. There will be a buyer for it. There's a buyer for everything. So anyway, that's like my perspective. And that's just like so normalized for me. But then I see people, and it's very clear, you can kind of tell who believes it's possible for them and who doesn't by their reaction. And I actually got on Facebook, which makes sense because I have a very different audience on Instagram than on Facebook, like we all do. And there was somebody who follows me, like my stories get shared from Instagram to Facebook, and somebody responded to the story where I was talking about how anybody can have a 50K day. Like, here's how. And I just got like an LOL response. And I'm not mad about it. It's like, I get it. I so get how to some people, your initial reaction would be LOL or like, this bitch is crazy. And that attitude right there will keep you broke. That right there, that attitude of like, this isn't real. You're joking right now. This is, just like the instant disbelief will keep you broke. So anyway, that inspired this episode. I was like, what else will keep us broke? And trust and believe, I've got a bag full of a lot of these. I'm going to give you 6 solid ones because I want to be mindful of all of our time here. But I'll probably make a post on Instagram and expound because there are so many. And again, I know these from experience. I know these from having a business that had negative revenue the first year and then went to 190K revenue the second year because I figured these things out. And then I had dips in revenue where I realized like, oh, I'm the problem. So this goes back to taking radical responsibility for our results, which leads us into the very first example on our list of what will no doubt keep you broke. And when I say broke, what I mean by that is at a level of income that you're not satisfied with, at a level of income that I was going to say that is beneath you, but you probably don't, which is keeping you broke, right? It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you aren't satisfied with the level, wait, pause real quick. If you are satisfied with the level of income and revenue that you have running through your household right now, God bless you. I am so happy for you. And that's beautiful. Like, screw what I say, screw what anybody says. Just because I have a different ideal in my mind doesn't mean that has to be the same for you. So I just want to say that up front. Please do not hear what I am not saying, which is if you're not making 10K, 20K, 50K, 100K days, 100K years, $1 million years, whatever, that you're doing something wrong. Because that is not the case at all. We all have our own definitions of success. And it's up to us to take responsibility and respect that. And I respect that for you. I am speaking to the person who is unsatisfied with their current financial reality and results and is potentially not taking responsibility for it, or who isn't asking the right questions, or is doing one or some of the 6 examples that I'm about to be giving you here. So let's get into it. So the very first thing, when I think of behaviors and attitudes that will undoubtedly keep you broke, keep you from achieving the level of financial success that you want to, or that you are no doubt capable of achieving, whether you want it or not, is constantly looking for a hero. And when I say hero, that can be a person and that can be a strategy. It can be a course. It can be a mastermind. It can be it's anything outside of, it could be a man. It could be a partner that will keep you broke. Unless you marry a billionaire and a millionaire and it doesn't blow up in your face. And again, hey, go for it, sister. Fully respect that too. But for most cases, I think you hear what I'm saying. You are putting all of your power in something outside of you. Instead of saying, I'm not satisfied with what I'm creating right now. Let's do the work. Let's turn it inward. Let's figure out what is happening. Like what maybe am I doing that I'm not fully aware of that I could correct, that could literally change my life. And by the way, all of these things will change your life. Like if you hear this, and it may not be easy to hear, but if you hear this and you actually take responsibility and change it, you will no doubt notice probably nearly instant results. I'm not even kidding. I'm not even kidding. But a big one is, again, looking for a savior outside of yourself and handing off that responsibility, handing off that power to a mentor, to a coach, to a podcaster, to whomever. It'll keep you stuck because that is not somebody else's responsibility. And we've all heard, people say like, nobody's coming to save you. And it's true because everybody is out for themselves. For the most part, excluding family units and your partner, But like, that is when I think of our responsibilities and journeys of souls, like what we came to this planet. I believe like we all have different goals and we all have a different plan and things that we came here to learn and experience and grow through. But I think one thing that we all have in common is we came here to realize that the power isn't us. Yes, have a belief in a higher power, no doubt. I'm not saying we're doing this alone. We're fully supported. But there's nobody on the earthly plane that can support you and help you, nor do they have the responsibility to, other than yourself. Like, we all came here to figure that out. And this is why a lot of people, when they get faced with this and they keep looking for an outside person, they're like, okay, it's this coach. Okay, if I just hire this coach or I start learning from them or get in their world, everything will be changed. Or if I just married this person or whatever, like it usually ends up burning them down the line because the universe, God gave you an opportunity. Hey, here's an opportunity to remember that you are in control. You have the power. Are you going to hand this off to somebody else again? Now, there is a difference between collaborating with somebody, right? Marrying somebody whom you actually love, who just happens to be a baller, or finding a coach or a mentor or somebody on the internet who is aligned with the vibe and who has a strategy that you're really excited to learn from. That's different than, again, all I need to do is hook my carriage to this person and everything will be okay. Total different energy. Okay, so the first behavior that will keep you broke is looking for a hero. Okay, the next one on my list, and these are in no particular order. The next one is thinking that everyone who is succeeding is lying, or having that quote LOL, that person who responded to my stories, LOL, having that reaction to people who are killing it will keep you broke, because this speaks to that deeper level of belief in yourself. Now, again, I'm not saying that you have to love or you can't have like a sense of humor about people who are making money. That's different. But again, it's this instant reaction of like, it's that cynicism. It's that cynicism, that instant cynicism and doubt when faced with somebody who has something that you want or somebody who is winning. That will keep you broke. Because you are literally repelling the thing that you want. It's assuming, again, that you want it. You're repelling that. You're saying that by not believing somebody else can do it, that speaks to your own belief in yourself. You will be limiting yourself. So that's something to absolutely check. If every time you see an income claim or somebody just out here living their best life, your instant reaction is cynicism or anger or envy, jealousy, this is absolutely something to look at. Why do you feel this way? What's going on here? There's absolutely something there. Somebody has told you or ingrained in your mind that is bad, or that's phony, or that's not realistic. So you're looking at every example, every person put in front of you through that lens. And if you think it's not possible for them, what do you think is possible for you? The third behavior that will undoubtedly keep you broke is not investing in support when you want to and you know that it's time. When you are growing a business, there are going to be times that require some sort of collaboration, whether that is bringing somebody on your team, whether that is outsourcing something in your home, whether that is hiring a coach, you're bringing somebody on to buy you back your time. That is what an investment is. An investment buys you back your time and makes you back your money at some point. That's an investment. So if you are one of those people who, throws around the phrase like, I could just do it myself. I don't want to, but I need to save money. Obviously, like every once in a while, it is what it is. But if this is a consistent theme in your world and you feel as if you're not growing, that is probably why. You are keeping yourself stuck. And it's not that you need a hero. It's not that you can't be successful without somebody on your team or without outsourcing, but it's a couple things. Number one, you are putting a cap to yourself because there's only so much of you to go around. There's only so much energy. There's only so much time. So you are literally limiting yourself in that way. And again, it speaks to that deeper level of belief in yourself. Because if you believed with more time and with more energy, you could create more money, you would happily invest in that thing. You would find a way at some point. Again, when you want to and when you know in your heart that the time is now. So that is absolutely something to look at. And I'm speaking to my freebie junkies out there. I'm speaking to my low ticket junkies out there. Every once in a while, a freebie is great. Like, get your freebie. Get your low ticket blueprint. I'm a big fan of low ticket. I love creating low ticket. But like, at some point, the call and what is required is for you to get in the room in some way. In the room. Like, get in the game. You can't build a business. Let me think about what I'm about to say. There are exceptions to every rule. But for most people, if you, and again, I am speaking to the one who's not satisfied with where they are. So speaking to that person, you cannot grow out of this box that you are in if you need support and you refuse. And like, you can't do that through freebies and low ticket stuff, without some sort of personalization, with some sort of hands-on support. Or at least you have to be okay with it continuing to take a lot of your time. So while you're pinching pennies and quote, saving money, how much is that time costing you? I will say the people that are the people that I know in my life that are actually broke, and I know they are because they say this. That would probably be another thing. Stop saying you're broke. But these people, I hate to say it, but they have a backwards belief on time and money, right? Money is on the pedestal, time is below, to the point that like they refuse to spend money, but they spend all their time doing all the things because they quote can't afford the whatever. I bet you would if you thought about it a different way. If you started small. So an example that I give for this is one of the first things I ever invested in as a business owner was a house cleaner. That was one of the very first things I ever invested in because I was a brand new mom. I had just switched over this business from managing social media for clients to teaching. It was at the time social media. This was back in 2018. Again, brand new mom. Chris was working in Nashville, so he was gone literally from like 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. So I'm trying to grow this business. I'm taking care of this baby. This was before we could afford nannies. This was before anything. Again, this is the year that I was negative in revenue, all right? I wasn't making anything. Well, I was making like a little. When I say I was making like maybe a couple $100 a month, maybe if I was so lucky. So what I noticed was because I was having to, quote, do all the things during the day, right? I'm taking care of this brand new baby. I have no clue what I'm doing. At the time, he was taking 2 90-minute naps a day. So that was like my time to work, which when you're growing a business, and by the way, I had no clue what I was doing with business either. So now if I knew what I know now then, I would have slayed with, 3 hours to work with. But this was not the situation. So I had no clue what I was doing, literally throwing, spaghetti against the wall, hoping something sticks. And then I would also work at night. So when Chris would go home, I would hand off crews and I would take calls then and do whatever else that I needed to do. And then on top of that, I would be responsible for cleaning the house. Not because Chris didn't do it. He just didn't care as much as I do. Like that matters to me. So I'm like full-time momming it, trying to grow a business. And on top of that, like everything else that comes with being a homeowner and being a human, I was running myself ragged, to put it as nicely as possible. I was miserable. I was having like freakouts, like I'm not an anxious person. I was having anxiety. I was like, I can't do anymore. Like what I'm creating is not working for me. And I literally don't have any more time to give. So what do you do in that situation, right? When you don't think you have the money to invest, but also there's only so much of you to go around. So I understand the paradox of it and the frustration of it to my core. But I did the math and I thought to myself, if I had just a couple of more hours a week, if I could buy myself a little bit more time, I could increase my revenue, right? With this much time, I'm creating, a couple $100 here. I feel like with a little bit more time, I could create a little bit more. And this is before I understood scaling. This is like, I'm doing like all one-to-one things. So this was a very logical way to think about my time. And the only way that I knew to do this was to bring somebody in the house to help me with the cleaning. That was the only thing. It was like, okay, I'm spending these hours, these extra hours a week, not to mention my energy, which is non-existent, cleaning my house. There are people out there who want to do this, who would love to do this and do it better than me. Let me buy back some time. So I scrounged up whatever dollars I could put together because we didn't have really the extra money to do it. Chris was like, are you sure? Like, does it really matter? I was like, yes, it matters. And I paid for somebody to come in. I think it was like maybe once or twice a month that first month. Not weekly, okay? Once or twice a month. And I felt like a goddess. I felt like a queen. When they came in and they did the things that I hate doing and then left and my house was pristine, I felt like I was floating on a yacht. I mean, you couldn't tell me nothing. And not to, now, and I knew how to like extend it and make it last. And now like I'm feeling different in my environment. I have more time. My vibe is higher. I did not know if I would be able, like I fully hired these people expecting to have to call them the next month and be like, I'm sorry, I can't afford to bring you in anymore. But hand on a Bible, I have had a cleaner ever since. And we have gone from, one cleaning a month to 2 cleanings a month to bi-weekly cleanings to 1 cleaning a week. Upwards of 3 cleanings a week, y'all. Okay, this is how much I believe in buying myself time. When I was pregnant with Rhett back in 2022, I could not be bothered with it. I just couldn't. This is when like my business was freaking off the charts. And I was just like, okay, all of my energy is going to creating a human and growing this business. I will not fuck with laundry right now. So we had a cleaner come in 3 days. It was actually 2. We had our current cleaner who we have now, who now she comes in twice a week, but she was coming in 2 days a week. And then I had a different company come in the middle of the week. Can you even, the audacity, the bouginess. I actually wanted to hire somebody to come in every single day. Like that's what I was like, let's test 3 days with the intention of potentially having somebody come in every single day and like help us meal prep and help us do all these other things. What ended up not working is I didn't love having somebody in the house that much. it was infringing on my peace. So now we do 2 days a week. It's perfect. Tuesdays and Fridays. So good. So all that to say, that was the very first thing that I invested in. And that was the gateway drug for me, right? And I feel like if you really understand the value of your time, all it takes is something that genuinely gives you that time back, that you realize, oh my gosh, this is what I've been missing. This, like, if I just stay in my lane and respect that and allow people, pay people, like, flow my abundance to somebody else so they can stay in their lane. That is how this works. That's how this gets to grow and evolve, So then it went from, hiring the cleaners to then I hired my first coach, whom I could not afford, put on a credit card. That was a whole thing. Chris and I, that was a tough one. But YOLO, to outsourcing the podcast completely. That was another thing. I was like, I don't think I'll be able to do this past a month. Never looked back. Have been working with them ever since 2019, right? So like this, I am an example of what this can look like. But my core belief, my dominant vibration here is that like there's no limit to what I can create in my right energy and with time. There's no limit. And my core belief is any investment that feels good to my soul and that buys me back that time will come back to me 2, 3, 10-fold. I believe this. I didn't believe this at the time. I borrowed this belief from other people because people have been preaching this since the beginning of time. So I think I borrowed this belief from I don't know, Gary Vee or something at the time. Whoever, thank God. Because I was like, I don't know, we'll see. And then I proved it to myself. And I've seen this happen now since 2018 to 2024, going on 25. I've proved this time and time and time and time again. So all of that to say, if you, again, look at your expenses, look at your time, and it is going to be very clear what you value more. The current money sitting in your bank account or your time. And you know what I'm going to say next. There's only one of those things that you can make back and that you can make again and again and again. And the other one, once it's gone, it is gone. Okay, this one's a big one. This is a big one. And before I say this one, I want to be very clear that the examples that I'm about to give under this behavior are past examples from past clients. I want to be very, very clear. By the way, it's December 11th at 11:11 as I record this. Oh, okay. The next behavior and attitude that will keep you broke 1,000,000%, and this is specifically for us business owners and specifically those of us who want to attract in clients, is not being a good client. Not being an example of the client that you wish to attract. This will keep you attracting in the same frequency, the same type of person, which will likely keep you a certain way, for sure. So when I say, and by the way, again, I'm giving old examples. I don't know what I did. I think prayer and just a belief and consistently affirming to myself that I work with the most incredible women on the planet and that I attract some of the most badass, incredible women on the planet. I believe that to be in my soul, and that's what I experience, period. It doesn't even make sense, the women that I get to work with every single day. Okay. And there was a time, probably a couple years ago now, where that was not the case. And guess who the problem was? If you're watching YouTube, I'm raising my hand right now. It was me, 100%. I wanted to attract a boss. I was being a little bitch. Okay? So I was attracting little bitches. But seriously, that's exactly what was happening. What goes around comes around. And I see, once I realized this for myself, what was crazy is like the women that I was working with, it was like we were perpetuating this for ourselves and we were creating like this weird cycle for each other, right? So like they would miss payments or like ghost me on payments and then come back around and tell me that they're being ghosted on payments. It is just like, no duh. Hello. Like, do you not know how this works? As above, so below, as within, so without. Like, you're going to have it reflected back to you. So if you have the desire to attract in a certain caliber of client, you best be being that client first. That is like the cheat code. It's not the cheat code, it's the rule. It is 100% the rule. It is the only way there. Branding will only go so far. That is a veneer. What is beneath that surface is the real thing, and that is what you will create. So when I say not being a good client, what I mean is behavior that would not feel good for you if a client was doing it to you. Okay, so like defaulting on payments, ghosting, and by the way, defaulting on payments, oh God, I could talk about this all day long. Let me get through the list first and then I'll circle back to defaulting on payments. Defaulting on payments, ghosting, hating on the internet, not showing up, like not putting in the work, not really trying, stealing people's intellectual property, looking as the person as like your savior. Oh gosh, not respecting boundaries of the container and of the coach consistently. Those are big. That's, no-brainers right there. Let's circle back to defaulting payments. Here's the thing about that. Life is going to life. Things are going to happen. There are going to be times where we are all experiencing some sort of financial drama. And let me not speak that over you, okay? It can happen. Probably won't happen to you. It won't happen to you. But maybe it has. Okay? And this, like, we're human. Things are like in the same way that you're going to get a cold one day, you're going to stub your toe one day. There's going to be a day where money is a little tight and people need to be paid and the money may or may not be there. Okay. We can all relate to this. And we are boss ass women. We are adults. We may not have the physical money to transfer into somebody else's bank account, but you have a voice, you have a phone, and you have a way to communicate with said person and say, hey, this is what's going on. What can I do? That's what you do have the control to do. As just like a decent person, but also an incredible client. And I can't tell you how many times this has happened in my world. And by the way, I've been there. I have been there. I remember when I was working with Melanie, it was year 2 that I was in her mastermind. The payment was $15,555 a month, almost $16,000 a month. Happily paid it every single month. One of the best investments I ever made. And new mom, lost a mom, business had kind of like slowed in a lot of different ways. This was like in 2023. And there was a couple months where my payment like didn't go all the way through. Like I didn't have enough funds in my bank account to cover the payment at the time. So it would like reverse and come back. And you better believe I was the first person in that inbox apologizing profusely, which is not required, but like I was embarrassed. And saying, hey, I realize that did not go through. I got you. Like, tell me I can give what I have right now, and then I will make the rest, as soon as possible. Like, let me know what we need to do. If you need to like remove me from the group, I so deeply respect the boundaries of this space as a woman who agreed to the terms when I came in, who knew exactly what I was getting myself into. I agreed to that. They did not. Right? Like, I'm an adult. I made that decision. I will take responsibility for that. So, and I've had clients who do this too. So I just want to say, like, it is okay to be embarrassed. Again, we've all been there. We can all relate to it. But what's not okay, and what I have such little respect for, is to one, ghost completely, or to not communicate, or to say you're going to do something and then not do it and not communicate about it. And if you're doing that, I would take a look at your bank account and maybe put the two together. Because if you're doing that, I can just about guarantee you're experiencing that on your end too. 100%. And it's nothing like I was the girl years ago who defaulted. I'm sure I defaulted on payment, and like I've never ghosted ever. That's just not in my DNA to do that. Well, I'm not even gonna get started on that. But certainly like didn't communicate, didn't own it, didn't like reach out preemptively to handle it like a respectful client and adult. And I was broke, right? So I took responsibility for that, and I will never do that again. And I just realized, like, again, like you get what you are. So now my goal, and by the way, this is like beyond money. You know, this can be something else that I noticed. A pattern of mine was like, God, and this was when I was in the mastermind that was $15,000 a month. There was a period there I was not showing up. Now, I had every excuse in the book to not. And again, we're adults. We can do whatever we want. But like, I'm paying to be there. And I wasn't utilizing it. I wasn't leaning in. And I know I left so much support on the table, just not even being aware. And what I realized is, like, at the time, my membership, like barely anybody was showing up. And actually, Melanie reflected this back to me because she did it in such a loving way. But I can't remember if I was complaining about like a very low show up rate or whatever. And, you know, she just like very gently pointed out to me, like, if you don't believe in mentorship to the point that you actually lean in and show up, how can you expect other people to believe in mentorship? Like, the way that I wasn't showing up was showing my level of belief in the support. And I was like, oh yeah, that tracks. So now anything I show up for, to the best of my ability, I lean in, I show up, I put myself there for a reason, even if I feel like it's not working, even if I feel as if, I don't know, I'm not enjoying it, or like I put myself in the room. I'm going to the best of my ability, show up and lean in and do what I can. So again, not being a good client or one that you would want to attract is going to perpetuate that in your world. It will keep you broke and very frustrated. The next one, how many have we done so far? We've done 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we have 2 more. The next one, this is pretty obvious, but I couldn't leave it off the list because duh. This one is hoarding money or overspending money, essentially not respecting money in general. This could be an episode in and of itself. Maybe it will be. I mean, I've talked about it plenty of times, but money is energy. And again, like you kind of get what you attract. And what I've learned is money likes to flow. So I think of money, like the healthiest form of money, in my experience, is a money that is moving in and out. Think of like an ocean, okay? The tide might go out for a little bit and look like it's never going to come back, but it always comes back. That's money. So if you are hoarding money and you are gripping it as strong as you can, and you refuse to invest in your time, and you refuse to buy the thing that you actually want and indulge and have a little bit of fun because you're so scared of it not coming back, that tells you the level of belief in your power to create money right there. That tells us everything that we need to know. That will keep you broke. That will keep you broke. I'm not talking about investing money. I'm not talking about saving money. I'm not talking about having a cushion or like, do you stack that cash, baby? I am here for it. I'm talking about hoarding and gripping money out of fear that it's never coming back to you. And then conversely, overspending money out of fear that it's never going to come back to you. So let's spend it all. As a matter of fact, let's spend more than what we have. All right. It's same energy, just a different behavior. Same energy, different behavior. It will keep you broke. And it's all underneath the surface of like, what is the deeper belief here? Like, why are you overspending? Why are you hoarding? If you believed money's always flowing and more is coming, then you wouldn't feel the need to overspend because you would just buy what you need to buy right now and know that you can buy the next thing when the time is right. Right? Same is true. If you believe that money is always coming, you wouldn't feel the need to hold on to it with a death grip. Also, sidebar, I am certainly not including debt in this. I know everybody has their own beliefs around debt. I think debt is great. I see nothing wrong with it. I am such like this. Oh my God, this makes Chris question everything when it comes to marrying me because I see nothing wrong with debt. It's like, okay, cool. Somebody believed in you and they gave you some money so you can go live your life. To me, I will always make more money than anybody will give it to me. To me, like I'm the magic sauce here. So if I need somebody to lend me a few bucks so that I can multiply it and create magic with it, great. Thank God for lenders. Thank God for business loans. Thank God for credit cards. I see nothing. If it weren't for debt, I wouldn't have been able to put myself through school, the school that I'm not using today. I think it's great. So I see nothing wrong with it. So anybody who's making you feel guilty about debt, fuck them forever. And also you get to believe whatever you want about it, but that's just my 2 cents. And then the last thing and behavior that will keep you broke is no risk. Never taking risk in yourself. And we've heard the saying, no risk, no reward. And I'm certainly not saying the only way to be, quote, successful and the only way to create financial abundance and to get yourself out of a hole is to make a huge leap or take a big risk. Not saying that's always the case, but often it is. There's a risk to everything. There's a risk to choosing to start a business. There's risk to hiring a housekeeper. There's risk to hiring a coach. There's risk to continue to run a business when the economy looks a certain way or whatever. So if you have such an aversion to risk because you're fearful of what if, then you're just going to keep, how are we growing? What's going on here? Everything is a risk. Staying where you are. And that's what you need to understand. What's a bigger risk than rolling the dice and going for the thing you want is not and staying exactly where you are and waking up tomorrow and waking up next year and waking up 10 years from now and realizing you're still where you are and wondering what could have been. To me, that is a death sentence. That is the biggest risk that so many people take every single day that they don't even realize they're taking. Playing it safe is the grossest risk that you can take. And I mean, I think all of these, I think every single one of these, why they will keep you broke is because, again, it speaks to the level of faith that you have in yourself and what's possible for you. If you don't believe you can have a successful business or you can hit the level of revenue that you want, or you can, whatever the thing is that you're going for, then yeah, why on earth would you ever invest $1 in anything to get you there? That would be crazy. So those that sit there and constantly let things pass them by and inquire about certain things and say they want it so bad, but let that fear and worry overtake them, unless that's addressed and checked at some point, it's going to be Groundhog's Day. And that's like, I don't love saying that. That makes me sad. And again, I've been there. A quote that I heard recently that like changed my life. And I send it to Chris like every single day because I need to. Dr. Andrea Morningstar, my current mentor, she said this, but the original person who said it, I Googled it. There's two, John Powell or Pastor Rick Daly. I don't know these people, but I want to pay respect where it's due because this is a banger. Worry is a form of atheism. Worry is a form of atheism. Do you believe in God or not? Do you believe that you're supported or not? Do you believe that you are meant to create exactly what you want to create or not? Your actions and how you live your life, whether you say yes or no to that, it doesn't matter. Like look at what you're creating. And again, if you are happy and you're satisfied, amazing. I'm so happy for you. Genuinely happy. But if you're not, and you are somebody who is constantly overthinking, constantly worrying, and essentially worshiping the worst case scenario, you are an atheist. You can go to church every single Sunday. You can read your Bible and do your prayer study every single day and post it on the internet. But if you refuse to take any amount of risk on becoming the type of person who you are meant to be, who God created you to be, that needs you to co-create with her, you're an atheist. So on that note, that hit me. I mean, like when I heard that quote, I was like, oh my God, it's so true. And I kind of wish I pulled some scripture from the Bible with this, because there's a lot. Like as soon as I sent it to Chris, he was like, he sent a verse back that was like, it's right there. It's right there. So anyway, I hope this was helpful for you. I share this because it matters. It genuinely matters. And we can handle things that hurt to hear in the moment, but will cause us true transformation later on. And this is what that episode is. So if I triggered you in any way, if I hurt your feelings, I do apologize. That is not my intention. My intention is for you to hopefully hear that, but then ask yourself why. And ask yourself, is that ultimately true? And do you want to do something about it? And then go on that journey. This will change your life. So if you are somebody who maybe you are investing in things and you've tried every strategy in the book, you have done everything to the T, and your lack of results is not for a lack of trying. And you know that. I would almost bet the farm it is because there's either one or some of these going on. A strategy is a veneer. A brand is a veneer. You can paint a nugget of shit gold all day long. It's still a nugget of shit. This is the stuff that matters, that will shift your frequency, that will shift what you attract back to you. I cannot stress the importance of doing this work, especially if it ruffled your feathers a little bit. And it sure did mine, I can promise you. So I get it. Anyway, I love you. I hope you have a fabulous rest of your week. Ooh, when is this going out? Okay, so this will come out on the 16th. Okay, yeah. We'll do a Christmas week episode too. And then we'll do a New Year's episode. Cool. I like how the dates are lining up for this. Awesome. Okay, I'll be back. Love you. Bye.